I think it's time. You want to do it? I mean, might as well. I mean, we can't let that song go to waste, right? That's right. So feel that love. And imagine first, because it's easier, someone you love, right? And feel that heart connection from you to them. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to send anything. You don't have to, beam them or all that stuff we used to do. You don't have to do any of that. Just feel it. And then feel it for the person that's in front of you, in the room, or behind you in the room. Feel it to the person on your right, or your left, and your left. Just feel the love. Feel the bridges that are connected, that are built when we land in love. Now feel the bridge as you come aware of somebody on the planet. Let's choose a child just because it's sometimes easier. A child who might be homeless in our country, or who might be starving in another country, or in this country for that matter, who might be ill, who might be parentless, who might be an orphan, who might have challenges. And just feel that love expand. Don't beam it to them, just feel the love expand. Now let's bring that love to the parents and the grandparents and the aunts and the uncles and the brothers and sisters of that child. Whew. Doing okay? Now let's take it a step further. This is a big one. You ready? Let's bring that love to the world leaders in the politics, in the governments, in the militaries. Every one of them. Let's just do it. Every one of them. Can you do it? Or did you find a step? Well, I'm not doing that. Well, just do it anyway. I mean, what if that's the work, right? What if that's all we have to do to transform this planet, right? Okay, now let's take it one more. Let's take it to that person who betrayed you or hurt you, or that person you just flat don't like. Take it to that person. And can you feel what happens when we lead with love? Jesus said the greatest commandment is to love. Love the Lord God with all your heart, all your might, all your strength, all your intelligence, all your wisdom, all your glory, all your joy. Okay, I added a few words in there, but you got it. Love. And the greatest of these is love. And in the book of Luke, a man comes to him and he says, how do I enter the kingdom? Which is the experience of love. Feel your mind like shifting a little bit there. You hear, seek first the kingdom. You go, yeah, I don't even know what that means. But what if it was this? What if that's the kingdom? And the man says to him, how do I get into the kingdom? And Jesus says, you love your neighbor like yourself. And he goes, well, I don't even know what that means. What's my neighbor? And he tells the story of the Good Samaritan. And the story of the Good Samaritan is basically that a man was walking down the road and he was mugged. I don't think they use that word, but mugged. And he was beaten and his clothes were taken and he was left basically to die. And the priest came by and he saw the man laying there on the floor on the ground, and he went to the other side of the street. And then somebody else came by, a Pharisee, and he saw the man laying there, and he went around a different street. And yet then a Samaritan came by. Now in the days of Jesus, the Samaritans were the mixed bloods. They were not getting into heaven. They couldn't even hardly go into Jerusalem because there was a lot of prejudice and discrimination against the Samaritans. And yet the Samaritan saw the man lying on the road, and he went to him, and he cared for him, and he bandaged his wounds, and he carried him to the inn, and he fed him, and he paid the innkeeper, and he said, please watch over this man, and whatever it takes, I will pay. And which of those was the neighbor? Well, the priest was following his religious laws, right? So he had reason. It was a sin to touch the blood. The Pharisee was following his religious laws. It was a sin. He couldn't go there. It was against the rules of religion. But the Samaritan had the religion of love, had the religion of compassion, had the religion of kindness. And if we don't have a religion of love and compassion and kindness, what good are we? I mean, we're plenty good. I don't mean to say that you're not good, right? But if we bring the religion of love and kindness and compassion ever more present into our lives and into our world, we will experience the kingdom of heaven, and all things shall be added unto us. So in this, thank you. So in this month of April, April's volunteer month. It's the first chance we got to talk about it, really, because the first Sunday was Easter, which was fabulous, and last week we had my amazing friend Twyla here. Yes, did you enjoy her? 3 of you did, so good, I'll tell her. Talking about resiliency, which really comes down to love, really comes down to being in alignment with the truth that we're here to be. We are spiritual beings on this planet having a human experience, but we are spiritual beings. And when we know that spiritual being, when we know love, when we know that at the depths of our being, nothing else makes that much difference. Not to minimize the struggle that you're in, because I know it's yours and you like it, but what if it just didn't matter that much? Now, you know, I say that, and I mean it. I mean it at the depths of my being. And I know some people in this room are struggling. And I know people in my life who are struggling. My dad, my dear dad, my dad is just amazing. He's very interesting. You know what that means? I love my dad very, very dearly, and I've done lots of work around my dad, if you know what that means. But he's in the process, he's great, but his only remaining sister has been put in hospice this week, and he's really struggling with that. You know, he's 82, I think, maybe 3, I think, his birthday this week, 83 this week, I think. And so death has been a part of his life for quite a few years, and yet this one's got him. You know how you go through life and you go and you go and go, and then one grabs you. You know, so I don't mean to minimize the one that's grabbed you. But I do mean to say, and love is present, and God is present, and you will move through it, and you will move through it even more expanded and even more connected to God as you move through it. I don't mean bypass it. That's what we want to do, isn't it? Let me bypass those pains. We don't get to do that. We get to walk through them, because when we walk through them, our heart breaks open. And when our heart breaks open, there's more room for God. There's more room for love. There's more room for light. So when I was thinking about volunteering and volunteerism, I was thinking about the word seva. Does anybody know the word seva? You should raise your hand if you read the E letter this week. Okay, good. 4, good. We're success. Seva really is, it comes from a Sanskrit word that means selfless service. And selfless service is not overgiving. That's not what seva is. Selfless service is not, I give and give and give and give and give and give and give, and I'm depleted and I'm worn out. That's not seva. Seva is selfless service from the depths of your fullness, from the depths of your being. Seva is about giving into the world because read you a definition, sort of. It's selfless service performed with a sense of gratitude. It's service infused with kindness and respect. for the one served, and it arises from a place of peace and love. And when you practice seva, when you practice selfless service, we talked a while back about the generous heart. It's a very similar place. When you come from the place of selfless service, you actually have yourself first. And when you come from a place of selfless service and you give unto the world, you are benefited psychologically, mentally, physiologically, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I know some of those are crossovers. You are benefited. There are studies very similar to the heart-mouth work that shows your body chemistry changes. Your attitude in life changes. Now, the question is, do you give because you're grateful, do you give? Or do you give to get grateful, right? But they're all tied in together, which came first. But it's that place of being. It's a place of consciousness about stepping in and serving the world. Now, we have something we've talked about. We'll do this slide. It's called Ubuntu. Ubuntu. It's U-B-U-N-T-U. U-B-U-N-T-U. And Ubuntu is... it's a way of being, it's a practice, I wouldn't say it's a religion, it is, translates roughly to human kindness, humanness.